8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President assures that future generations will not face the disastrous situation that the people have recently experienced. The government hinted bank interest rates would be reduced shortly. The Education Ministry is to hold the GC ordinary level examination at the 10th grade. House to be constructed for Sri Lankan nationals working abroad. The Irrigation Department says that the Udavalve Reservoir that has only had 5,000 acre-feet water today. News overseas, Russia says Crimea bridge targeted by missiles. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe claims that the future generation will not face the disastrous situation that the people have recently experienced. He stated that new techniques are being used to achieve the economic goals and that the strategies and procedures are now clearly laid out. New technologies are being used to achieve the economic goals, he added. The President made these remarks at a function held at the St. Thomas's College, Martale, today. The function was held to mark the 150th anniversary of the college. He stated that the successful completion of the debt restructuring scheme will not solve the country's economic issues fully. The country should lead with a clear mission and a vision to achieve a better economic success. The President noted that if the right policies are executed with a clear vision and mission, the country will prosper in another decade. He said the government is planning to establish a digital economy and the country has now been rescued from bankruptcy. During the occasion, the President also conferred certificates upon students who secured the top position in the district during the General Education Certificate examination. A President's senior advisor on national security and Chief of Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka, says that a potential reduction of the bank interest rates will happen in the near future. Speaking at an event held in Colombo for owners of the small businesses and those interested in becoming entrepreneurs, Ratnayaka explained that the bank interest rates will soon be brought down to a single-digit figure, making it easier for them to obtain loans. He said bank interest rates went up to 34% during the recent worst period of time, and now it has come down to 16 to 17%. Education Minister Susi Premchandsa said the Education Ministry is looking out at a possibility of holding the GCE ordinary level exam in the 10th grade. Addressing an event at Royal College Colombo, he said the students faced the O-level examination in grade 10 previously, but later it was extended by 1 year to grade 11. The minister said the ministry is currently having discussion on holding the examination at grade 10. He added necessary updates have been made to the particular relevant authorities where knowledge is increasing rapidly in a very short period of time. Through a new transformational change in education, the foundation should be laid for the next generation to inherit the independence of choosing their future direction after appearing for the advanced level examination, the minister added. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The National Housing Development Authority has launched a project together with the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment to construct houses for Sri Lankan nationals working abroad. The National Housing Development Authority reported that these constructions will be built either on a property owned by the migrant worker or the house will be built on a piece of land owned by the state outside of urban areas, while the third option is the establishment of an apartment complex. A joint proposal is due to be presented before the Cabinet by the Minister of Urban Development and Housing, Prasanna Ranatunga, and Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment, Manisha Nanekara. The Irrigation Department says the Udavalve Reservoir that has a total capacity of 217,800 acre-feet only had 5,000 acre-feet of water by this morning. The Irrigation Department says during the farming season about 32,000 acre-feet of water are usually released for agriculture. Meanwhile, the Mahaveli Authority said the Udavalve Reservoir has noted the lowest water level recorded for the past 20 years. The authority said water remaining in the reservoir is enough for only 3 days to provide irrigation water. The authority added that 800 acres of 800 hectares of paddy land irrigated by the Udawala Reservoir had been destroyed due to the prevailing drought condition. The Movement for Land and Agricultural Reform, however, said that the officials were making statements on to damage the agriculture based on mere conjecture. And that's local news.
Elevate your life with People's Bank Excelsior. A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe claims that the future generation will not face the disastrous situation that the people have recently experienced. He stated that new techniques are being used to achieve the economic goals and that the strategies and procedures are now clearly laid out. New technologies are being used to achieve these targets. The President made these remarks at a function held at the St. Thomas's College, Matale today. The function was held to mark the 150th anniversary of the college. He stated that the successful completion of the debt restructuring scheme will not solve the country's economic crisis fully. The country should lead with a clear mission and a vision to achieve better economic success. The President noted that if the right policies are not executed with a clear vision, the country will collapse again. And that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Fact Crescendo Sri Lanka reported misleading social media posts have been published claiming that the GCE advanced level examination results have been released. Fact-checking website, according to Fact Crescendo Sri Lanka, the Commissioner General of Examination, Hamid Jayasundara, has confirmed that the results have not been released yet. The fact-checking website further stated that Mr. Jayasundara revealed that they expect to release the GCE advanced level examination results by the end of August. And that was Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Moving on to world news, the headlines: the ministers face renewed pressure over boat crossings. Ecuador, thousands of soldiers move gang leader Fito. Russia says Crimea bridge targeted by missiles. And those are the headlines of the world news. Ministers are facing renewed pressure to tackle boat crossings in the Channel after 6 migrants died when a vessel sank off the French coast this morning. Labour said people smugglers were running rings around the government, while a Tory backbencher said the UK had a moral duty to act. The government has made stopping the boats one of its 5 priorities. Investigations continue into Saturday's incident in which 59 people were rescued. Early reports suggested 2 people were still missing, but the search has now been stood down after authorities said all people had been accounted for. Thousands of Ecuadorian soldiers and police have been involved in a dawn operation to move a notorious gang leader to a maximum security jail. Jose Adolfo Macias, known as Fito, is accused of sending death threats to Ecuador's murdered presidential candidate Fernando. The anti-corruption campaigner was shot 3 times in the head leaving a campaign rally on Wednesday. The 2 Ukrainian missiles have targeted a bridge linking Russia to the annexed Crimean Peninsula. Videos on social media show plumes of smoke rising near the Kerch Bridge. Russia's defense ministry said S-200 missiles had been used and shot down, causing no damage. Ukraine has not commented on the alleged attack. And that's world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities from Deshak Sri Lanka in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, including company housemaid, salary 156,000 rupees, 23 to 57 years. Contact 037 7500 500.
Minister of Wildlife and Forest Resources Conservation Pavitra Vaniyaraja told Parliament that it would take around 1 month more to come up with a permanent situation or solution for the elephant-human conflict that resulted in deaths and losses. Responding to a question raised by the SLBC MP Jagat Kumara on Thursday, the minister said that mega development projects and rapidly increasing people's settlements have resulted in the loss of habitat for elephants. She said that the government has planned to come up with short-term, middle-term and long-term solutions for this multi-dimensional crisis. And that came to you in Development News.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Company housemaids, caretakers and home cooks in Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 57 years. Salary starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can now travel overseas free of charge. Branches Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Development Agency.
In sports, the Football Federation of Sri Lanka, FFSL, will go for elections on or before September 16 to fulfill one of the key conditions of the FIFA to get the current ban lifted. FIFA banned Sri Lanka's membership, citing that the election of the office bearers held on January 14, 2023 was constituted with undue interference by the Ministry of Sports. The Ministry of Sports says that they have realized that it needed to respect the recommendations of the global body in order to continue to be a part of the International Football Association. Following recent discussion with FIFA and AFC, officials Sri Lanka agreed to give in to the demands of FIFA, paving way for the ban to be lifted. And that came to you in sports.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Chamber of Mineral Exporters was officially launched recently as a collaborative initiative comprising prominent companies in Sri Lanka. The Executive Committee of the CME comprises Mr. Amila Jayasinghe, Chairman, Director Bogle Graphite Lanka PLC, Mr. AFM Farooq, Vice Chairman, C Quartz MBI Private Limited, Dr. Sandun Dalpato, Secretary or Director, Damsila Resources Private Limited, and several other prominent figures in the trade. The Chamber of Mineral Exporters Chairman Amila Jayasinghe said the Chamber aims to utilize Sri Lanka's mineral resources for economic growth.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says coconut yield in the island is at 7,000 nuts per acre, and it is about half that of 15,000 nuts in India's Andhra region. He said while Sri Lanka's coconut production stands at 7,000 nuts per acre, India's Tamil Nadu region achieved a yield of 11,400 coconuts per acre and Telangana 10,000 coconuts per acre. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was concerned that the industry's development in Sri Lanka should match the advancements seen in other countries. About 82% of the coconut farmers owned less than 20 acres of land, while only 18% were engaged in large-scale cultivation. And finally, in weather, the Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in western and sub-Brahma provinces and in Galle, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in eastern, Uva and northern provinces during the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President assures that the future generation will not face a situation that the people have recently experienced. The government hinted bank interest rates would be reduced shortly. The Education Ministry is to hold the GCE ordinary level exam at the 10th grade. houses to be constructed for Sri Lankan nationals working abroad. The irrigation department says the Udavalwe reservoir that has only had 5,000 acre-feet of water today. News overseas: Russia says Crimea bridge targeted by missiles. And with that, we conclude this evening news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.